Bank. Some of the books were familiar to me. I kept seeing the same, lots of copies of this one book, and the book was called Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl. And it was a book that I had read when I was 13. I have, my dad is from St. Kitts in the Caribbean. And so he has, is any Caribbeans here? St. Kitts, or have you been to St. Kitts? Did you like it? Good. I like it too. It's very small. St. Kitts and Nevis are the smallest country in the Western Hemisphere. So you sort of drive around it in half an afternoon. It's really beautiful, and there's white beaches and black beaches, like volcanic, and it's beautiful. But that's where my dad's family are from when they came to England, and he has 4 sisters. So he and his 2 sisters, they stayed in England when they were grown. And 2 of his sisters came here to the US, and they came to New Jersey. And they were my American aunts, and they would send me things from time to time. They'd send me American stuff. So they sent me clothes sometimes, they sent me Kool-Aid. It's amazing. They sent me barrettes, stick barrettes in my hair. And they sent me books as well, which I really appreciated, because they sent kids' picture books with pictures of children that looked like me, and that was really hard for me to find when I was in England, growing up in the 80s. When I was a teenager, my Aunt Joyce sent me this book, and it was called 6 African American Classics. And it was Frederick Douglass, it was James Weldon Johnson, it was W.B. Du Bois, and it was this book, Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl, by Harriet Jacobs. And that was the one I read first, because that was the only story by a woman in this book. And I was really struck by this incredible woman who is a young girl, and she grows up on this plantation and learns of her status as an enslaved person. And she learns what it's like to not just answer to the authority of her mother and father, but of this structure around her that she is living in. And when she's in her late teens, she has 2 children, so she has these young children, but she also has this person in her life who's her master, and he is a violent man, and he's an aggressive man, and he is a sort of predator in her life. And she realizes that she has to get away from him for her own safety and for the safety of her children. So she makes it seem as though she's gone north, but she hasn't run away to the north, because she knows if she does, he will spare no expense in trying to find her. So instead of going north, she hides out in the crawl space above her grandmother's storehouse, her free grandmother's storehouse. It's not tall enough to stand up in, but she can lie down in there. It's freezing cold in the winters and boiling hot in the summers, and she can sometimes go to the storeroom to stretch her legs. But she stays in this hiding place for 7 years. And she manages to, with a little tool, she bores a hole in the side of this building, this wooden building, this little loophole, so that she's able to look out and she can see what's happening around her in the grass and in the nearby and what surrounds their home, the building. She can watch her children growing up because her grandmother brings them nearby, so she can see a little bit of their progress. And I thought about her mental fortitude. I read this as a teenager, but rereading it as a woman, reading it as a parent, as a mother, I felt it even more keenly and deeply, this big decision to take this huge risk, to kind of make your world incredibly small so that you can eventually tear open the world and be free. And Harriet Jacobs did that. She was able to go north after 7 years, and she got her freedom. She got freedom for her children. She lived until she was in her 80s. She set up a school for children to read and write who were leaving slavery. She's an amazing woman, abolitionist woman. And I thought about this space that she's made, and what the sunset looked like for her through this tiny fragment, this little space, and then how vast and how wide the sunset must have felt when she eventually got her freedom. And this song is called Peach Velvet Sky.
away.